Welcome back. This is the third and final recorded lecture for the module Understanding Developing a Listening Mindset. At the beginning of this module, I promised you that we'd touch on effective communication in the virtual world, and that's what we're going to do now. Since the pandemic, more of our work life is spent in virtual meetings, and that shift to remote communication is definitely here to stay. The convenience of remote work and virtual meetings is undeniable, but our communication is impacted in very real ways when we engage with others on a virtual platform. What we gain in convenience and safety and efficiency can be diminished by the loss of connection and interaction and trust and effectiveness that we feel when we're in person. And research continues to measure the very negative impact of video conferencing on our physical and mental health. Video conferencing makes us more inattentive, more negative in our thinking, and more tired. So here are a few things we can do. Let's go through these ideas. Move your body. Physically move yourself away from the screen on your phone or computer so that your shoulders are visible. And then the viewers can see a fuller expression of your body language. Remember from our first lecture just how much we convey just with body language about the meaning of what we're trying to say. You can invite the participants to also do the same. You may also want to blur your background. That can decrease some distractions for the viewer and minimize for you any sense of intrusiveness or judgment. And consider hiding self-view to avoid that constant sense that you're looking in a mirror. Be patient about interruptions. Zoom audio and other platforms typically picked up the first and the loudest voice, so interruptions are bound to happen. People might feel cut off. We might not notice when someone wants to speak or might just be taking a brief pause. But also we want to be forgiving and gentle with our interruptions. They can feel harsher in a virtual environment, but they might be necessary because the virtual environment doesn't provide those same social cues for the beginning and ending of conversations. Smile. It's the start for a pleasant and cooperative interaction, and we're more likely to listen to people we like and vice versa. A smile starts that positive exchange. Check in with your viewing partner. After some time in that virtual meeting, ask how they're doing. Do they need a 5-minute stretch break? Would you rather just reconnect on the phone? Or maybe just cut that meeting a little bit shorter if they're tired. And then notice body language. The shrug of the shoulders, the looking away, the downcast eyes, that communicates something, and you might want to inquire about it since we don't have the normal cues of being in the same room with the person. That looking away might be looking at what their cat is doing in the corner of the room, or it might mean that you've just offended them in some way. You should go ahead and ask. Pacing. Conversations just take longer on Zoom. We've got breakouts and raising hands and muting and unmuting. It all takes time, particularly if there isn't the same ease with technology. There's also a slight micro delay that's caused by the technology that lengthens the time for speech to reach our ears, for them to process it, and then send it back to you. A split second longer than it would be if we were in person. That can be disconcerting, and it's one of the identified reasons that experts have mentioned for Zoom fatigue. We need to be patient. And remember, you can just shorten the meeting. There's another significant issue that makes listening in a virtual environment more difficult. We're doing other things. According to a survey reported by Forbes magazine, most online meeting participants spend the meeting texting, doing other work, and shopping online. Maybe you're doing one of those things right now. Like this gentleman, we've got multiple tabs open on our computer, more than one screen to look at, and sticky notes right at hand to add to our to-do list. Most of us think that we can multitask, that we can listen to the meeting, respond to an email, shop for a new pair of sneakers, and still be just as effective in our work. But the truth is, human brains just don't work that way. While we think we're multitasking, what our brain is doing is task switching, and that takes additional mental energy. And you just end up being less efficient at both efforts. Task switching takes more time, creates mistakes, and increases stress. Try this activity if you're still not convinced that multitasking makes us less efficient. Pause the lecture as you need to go through the activity. The demonstration for you involves 3 very short tasks. You'll need something at hand to make a note and a way to time yourself. You can ask a friend to use a stopwatch on their phone, or you can ask Siri to do it for you while you undertake each task. All right, first task. Time yourself counting from 1 to 26, and then write down the time it took. Okay. Now, time yourself saying the alphabet from A to Z. Write down the time that takes. Now for the third and final part. Combine both of these tasks, but interweave the numbers with the letters. For example, 1A, 2B, 3C, etc. That is, we're switching back and forth between tasks 1 and 2. Time yourself in this activity and write down the time that it takes. How did you do? When this demonstration is used, people typically experience significantly longer times to complete both tasks. That happened to me. My time with the third task was well more than double my confined time for tasks 1 and 2. Life is busy, and we all want to get things done, but we also want to be efficient. And some experts recommend scheduling the tasks that require the most mental energy for a time when you have the most mental energy. In the morning, if you're a morning person. Later, if you're a night owl. That makes sense, but we don't always have control over what's scheduled during our workday. Multitasking impacts our ability to understand the person speaking because we're not doing the most important thing, truly paying attention. Next time you have a planned virtual conversation, review this checklist in advance to avoid those temptations of task switching. Number 1, do I have time for this conversation? Have I closed all the tabs on my computer that aren't related to this conversation? Is my phone silenced, put away? Are my pop-ups and reminders silenced? And before I start, can I take 3 deep breaths to focus? So let's check in on your listening skills. Take the quiz before proceeding.